The year is 2120. Humanity has reached the pinnacle of technological advancement, yet it stands on the brink of annihilation. The Great War, once a distant echo of the past, a grim reminder of humanity's darkest hours, had returned to engulf the world in flames, spreading chaos and destruction. What began as a petty conflict between two insignificant nations over resources and territorial disputes had escalated into a global catastrophe, dragging every corner of the world into its deadly embrace. Pride, that ancient enemy of reason, fueled the flames of conflict, driving world leaders down a path of no return, where compromise was seen as weakness. It started with whispers of conflict, then escalated to skirmishes and covert operations, and finally exploded into full-blown war with no end in sight. New alliances were forged and broken overnight as trust became a rare commodity. Each nation, blinded by its own self-importance, refused to back down, leading to a deadly stalemate. The drums of war beat louder, echoing through the hearts of all, drowning out the pleas for peace which fell on deaf ears. Advanced weaponry, developed with a chilling disregard for human life, was unleashed with devastating effect. Hypersonic missiles crossed continents in the blink of an eye, leaving destruction in wake. Laser cannons, once confined to science fiction, now carved deadly paths across the battlefields, changing the face of warfare. These weapons of mass destruction left nothing but devastation in their path. Cities, once vibrant hubs of life, culture and progress, were reduced to rubble in a matter of hours, their histories erased. The old world order crumbled, unable to withstand the relentless onslaught. Consumed by the fires of war that raged uncontrollably, humanity, drunk on its own arrogance and blinded by ambition, had unleashed a force it could no longer control, leading to widespread chaos. The consequences would be felt for generations to come as the scars of war ran deep. The very fabric of civilization began to unravel, with communities torn apart, setting the stage for a new and terrifying world order where survival was the only goal. The ultimate nightmare became a reality. Nuclear weapons, long feared and stockpiled, were unleashed upon the world. What started as a desperate attempt to gain the upper hand quickly spiraled into mutually assured destruction. The sky, once a symbol of hope, turned into a canvas of fire and ash. Once great cities vanished in blinding flashes, leaving behind only radioactive craters. The very air became toxic, laced with deadly particles that poisoned the land and its inhabitants. The initial blasts were only the beginning of the horror. The nuclear winter descended upon the earth like a shroud. Temperatures plummeted, plunging the world into perpetual darkness. Crops withered and died, leading to widespread famine. The lucky ones died quickly, incinerated in the initial blasts. The unlucky ones faced a slow, agonizing demise. The world as we knew it was gone, replaced by a desolate wasteland. Humanity's hubris had exacted a terrible price. From the ashes of their arrogance rose a new enemy more terrifying than any weapon: the consequences of their own actions. In the aftermath of the nuclear firestorm, a new kind of horror emerged. From the ashes of the old world, a plague of unknown viruses and diseases swept across the globe. The very air became a breeding ground for death. Hospitals, overwhelmed and ill-equipped, became little more than morgues. Doctors, lacking the resources to combat these new diseases, could only watch helplessly as their patients succumbed. The cries of the sick and dying echoed through the shattered remnants of civilization. Those who survived the initial blasts and the plagues faced a new horror: radiation sickness. Their bodies, ravaged by invisible forces, slowly betrayed them. Hair fell out in clumps, skin erupted in boils, and internal organs shut down. But the true horror was reserved for those on the fringes of death. Those exposed to the highest levels of radiation underwent a grotesque transformation. They became the undead, creatures driven by a primal hunger for flesh. Humanity had not only destroyed itself, but also created a new enemy in its wake. Section 4. A Lone Wanderer. In this desolate, post-apocalyptic wasteland, a lone figure emerged from the ruins, a symbol of resilience amidst the devastation. His name was Ray, and he was a survivor, a testament to human endurance and the will to live. He had witnessed the horrors of the war firsthand, seen cities crumble and friends and family perish in the nuclear fire. The memories haunted him, but they also fueled his determination to keep going. Ray was a hardened man, his face etched with the scars of survival. Each scar told a story of a battle fought and won, a testament to his unyielding spirit. His days were spent scavenging for scraps of food and water, always on the move, always wary of the dangers that lurked around every corner. The world was a harsh place, and only the vigilant could hope to survive. He carried a battered old rifle, his only companion in this new world. It was a relic from the past, a reminder of what once was, and a tool for survival in the present. He had learned to live off the land, hunting what little game remained and foraging for edible plants. Each day was a lesson in survival, a test of his skills and resourcefulness. His nights were spent in abandoned buildings, always alert for the telltale moans of the undead or the sounds of other survivors, unsure if they would be friend or foe. The darkness was both a refuge and a threat. Every day was a struggle for survival, a constant battle against hunger, thirst, radiation, and the ever-present threat of the undead. The world was unforgiving, and Ray had to be relentless. Yet Ray clung to life, driven by a faint glimmer of hope that he might one day find other survivors, rebuild some semblance of a life from the ashes of the old. Hope was his guiding light, a beacon in the darkness. Section 5. Clawing for life. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ruins of a deserted town, the air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the distant calls of nocturnal creatures. Ray found himself facing his greatest fear. He had stumbled upon an abandoned supermarket, its shelves long since picked clean. The emptiness of the place was suffocating, a stark reminder of the world that once was. As he turned to leave, he heard it, a low guttural growl emanating from the shadows. A figure emerged from the darkness, its movements slow and deliberate, as if savoring the moment. It was once human, but now it was a grotesque mockery of life. Its flesh was putrid and decayed, its eyes glowed with an eerie light, and its teeth were bared in a silent snarl. The stench of decay filled the air, making Ray's stomach churn. It lunged at Ray, its hands outstretched, driven by an insatiable hunger for living flesh. The sheer ferocity of its attack took Ray by surprise. Ray reacted instinctively, bringing his rifle up and firing a shot that echoed through the desolate aisles. The sound was deafening in the otherwise silent store. The shot hit its target, but the creature kept coming, its movements jerky and unnatural. It was as if the bullet had only angered it. Ray realized with a jolt that these creatures were more resilient than they looked. Panic began to set in as he understood the gravity of his situation. He backed away slowly, firing shot after shot, each one slowing the creature down but not stopping it. The relentless advance of the zombie was terrifying. He stumbled over a pile of debris, dropping his rifle. The cold, hard floor met him with a painful thud. He was trapped. As the creature closed in, its rancid breath washing over him, Ray could feel the heat of its foul exhalation on his skin. Ray knew he was living his final moments. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks, and a sense of despair enveloped him as he faced the imminent danger.